if you don't stop what you're doing and immediately go to NTTFGPOD.com and subscribe, I'm going to punch my husky friend Archie straight in the dick. I'm Rock.
And I guess I'm husky. I'm Archie.
Well, our opinions, they might not matter to some, but...
What are you doing in there?
It's a podcast.
Immature, crass, trashy. And those are their good qualities. These poor schmucks are a couple of IQ points away from eating paste. But when it comes to music, sports, and comedy, well, that's all they know. You're listening to
Not These Two Fucking Guys.
Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
Yo, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you remember Ice-T growing up and how fucking good it was?
What a great rapper he was. Oh, not that.
So I love, like, I remember, like, getting was it Nestle, right? The iced tea, the powder. We used to get fucking ShopRite, to be honest with you. Yo,
Lipton?
Yes, Lipton. ShopRite iced tea, bro. Make a jug of that with some ice in the summertime. Make it nice and sweet. But my thing is, I'm a little biased when it comes to that because, I'll tell you why. I like unsweetened iced tea from Dunkin' Donuts with lemon. Sucker, hook that up.
All right, first off, number one, even though it is COVID time, this is how I am during normal times.
Go right ahead.
There's no fucking way that Dunkin' Donuts washes those lemons before they put it in your drink.
I'd probably agree with you there.
They don't wash the lemons, right? So it's probably like dirt and fucking skivats on the lemons. The guy or
That
girl
sucks.
grabs them with their fucking dirty dick beaters and throws it right in your little fucking drink.
Well, when you put it like that, I'm going to get a large tomorrow.
Hence, and I watched this thing about fucking like these ice buckets or not ice buckets, like the ice machines or ice basins they keep things in. And I'm just saying Dunkin' Donuts. I don't want to get sued by the old
Not by D&D,
yeah,
by Dunks, by American Runs on Dunkin'.
by Nick Nuts Stunod backwards. But those fucking ice things are filled with like bacteria and like dirt and skeeve and filth.
Yeah, I know. But
And then you got some guy grabs the fucking it's a garbage can, but we know it's used just for ice. But is it really? They fucking dumping it in like fucking.
So you never had a cold brew from D&D?
No, I've had a nitro cold brew
Okay, and you don't
that they make in small batches, but that one that comes out of the tap.
Okay,
And does not have ice in it.
all right.
All my drinks I order, no ice, no lemon. Extra fucking weird.
No ice, no lemon, no fun.
So how is it that our boys, Big Blue, the New York Giants, are technically in second place in the NFC East with 3 fucking wins?
3-7. Second
Eagles
in
are
the
in first
NFC
place.
East.
They're 3-5-1. What? I think. Listen,
Talk to me.
I think that they shouldn't allow anyone from the NFC East to make the playoffs this year.
Oh, I'm sorry. They couldn't make it this year.
It's crazy. The Giants have played like shit. Actually, I'm going to recant what I just said. They can't finish games. They don't know how to win, if that makes any sense. If you look at all their games, they're probably the best 3-7 team that you've ever seen. Most games, they're competitive. They just lack the ability to put these games away.
You know who has some intensity on D, though?
Your sister.
You fuck. Our boy Peppers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
New Jersey.
He's a maniac out there,
Yeah, he's having a pretty good year.
right?
Yeah, well, I mean, all of our friends out there are Giants fans. Bro, fucking, we're going to make the 3-7. Fucking make the playoffs. Look at that. 3 wins. I'm like, to quote Winston Wolfe, let's not go suck each other's dicks quite yet. You won 3 games. Two of them were against the Redskins.
So they had an awesome victory, 27-17 victory over the Philadelphia Eagles last Sunday. Oh, sorry, Howard. Shout out to Howard Benson. Sorry about that. Yeah, I know he's an Eagles fan, but we got this one. They had, I think the Eagles had an opportunity to pull away in the standings with this win, but I don't know. Our boys are now contenders.
Yeah,
So,
if the Eagles won, it would have dropped everyone else in the division to 2-7. Cowboys are shit. Redskins are shit. Giants are shit. No, Giants are on what they call a winning streak, 2 games in a row.
do you think And I guess it could be easily answered. Do you think if Saquon was in the mix, do you think it would be a different Giant team?
Oh, 100%, dude. Everyone that's kind of like shitting on Daniel Jones, he doesn't really have many weapons, you know.
What was his face? Looked pretty good. The running back this week. What, Wayne Gallman?
Yeah. You get a lot of gall, man. We had a good game.
Yeah. So hopefully some of the weapons stand up, prevail for this boy. Poor Daniel Jones. Doesn't he look like he just looks like he's just, hey, man.
They said that he
Don't light
looks
up
like
those firecrackers around here, man.
they said he looks like the actor that would play Eli Manning in the Eli Manning movie.
That's fucking hysterical.
Yo, he's fast as hell, though, dude. We've never had a mobile quarterback.
No, never.
He ran one in this week, and he's...
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. That was good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't crack a joke because he fucking tripped like week
They
one
did.
or week
Like,
two.
at this time, he didn't trip over the 10-yard line.
I didn't hear that.
Hey, why don't you go fuck yourself? So I got a beef with the fucking Major League Baseball.
You got a
beef?
You got a beef, bro?
What's your beef?
Hold on 1 second. I think I hear it. He's got a beef. Here it comes. Go ahead, bro. What's your beef?
The fucking Major League Baseball Sports Writers Association that votes for the most valuable player of the league.
Okay.
Now, again, it was a 60-game season. We get it. Our boy, the fucking machine, DJ LeMahieu, not only should he have won, these jerk-offs voted him third. Third.
All right.
Now, listen.
I need to hear 2 and 1.
Jose Abreu on the White Sox won it.
Okay.
This year, again, years past, they weren't really fucking giving a lot of credit to home runs and RBIs. Now, all of a sudden, they are. And they're saying that because LeMahieu missed 10 games out of a 60-game season. So he only played 50 games, but he led the league in hitting. He's
the free agent. How many years is he on the Yankees?
2.
6'4", 32 years old. Probably fucking just a stud. Actually, he looks so goofy on over here.
Yeah, he's serious as hell.
Yeah, he does look. What did you say?
Don't fuck with him.
Don't fuck. Yeah, I see the pictures here. He looks like he's got some power behind that swing, doesn't he?
He does everything well. He's like fundamentally the most sound baseball player you're ever going to want to see.
He probably saves money, too.
He switched to Geico, I think.
Speaking of Geico, you could save 10%.
So Jose Abreu from the White Sox led the majors in RBIs, 148 total bases, the most hits in the AL.
Okay.
DJ LeMahieu led the league in hitting.
So give me the top 3. Give me 3 reasons why you think our boy DJ got shafted. 1.
Number 1, he led the league in hitting.
2.
He plays multiple positions and excels at all of them.
3.
He has, if you look at the stats of runners in the scoring position and timely hits, he's tops. The baseball writers hate the fucking Yankees.
You ever watch G.O.T?
Got? No.
Game of Thrones?
Oh my God. Do me a favor. Don't ever fucking give me an acronym for shit, okay? No, I haven't.
We watched it last year. Not even. No, like 6 months ago. We just finished it. Come on, I'm late to the game. You're talking about every office, every fucking person in the universe talking about this stupid dragon show. I was like, fuck that. I'm not watching it. But
well, let me ask a question. Do you like dragons?
not really. I could care
Because
less.
I was going to be dragging my balls across your face later on. Proceed. You got.
You got a lot of balls.
Fucking stupid.
All right. So what I was getting at, you piece of shit, was that Nunu Betancourt, Scott Ian, Tom Morella. What's that fucking kid? That Brad Paisley? Is he the guy with the? Is he in the commercials? Do you know who Brad Paisley is or no?
He's a country and western star.
Star music. Why? He's an actor too.
They're saying star.
And who's president in 1988, Mr. Future Man?
Ronald Reagan.
The actor.
Brad Paisley. It was Brad Paisley, Nunu Betancourt, Tom Morello, Scott Ian. They had all these guitars that were I know Scott Ian definitely had a guitar made. It had like the fucking Game of Thrones emblem on it, and they all played the intro to it. It was pretty badass.
Yeah, I'm the only person in America that hasn't watched Game of Thrones, apparently.
I was like that too, man.
I don't usually get into like these big popular shows. I don't know.
Neither do I.
I think I tried watching it once. It was like too fucking. When they shoot it, it's like. Do I sound like an old geezer by saying when they shoot it, it's like too
dark? Did you
dark.
just say geezer?
Geezer Butler. Like it's too dark. Like the cinematography. I don't know. So you turn the fucking light on. Let's see what's going on.
I guess like a Fender studio. I guess they're all playing. Yeah, they're all playing Fenders, right? You should check it out.
Is a Game of Thrones like theme like cool?
Now it is when they did it. It's like, like that type of cinematic fucking with the fucking. I think it's like this. Like
how many seasons of Game of Thrones is there?
8, 9. Don't even know.
Yeah,
I can't even answer that. I tell you what though, it was pretty good though. I do have to give it to the people. Like I understand why. Like I was gonna watch it no matter what, right? My wife wanted to watch it. I'll watch it, but I understand why people are fucking weird about it. It was because it was really good. But then I could be like, all right. And if I didn't watch that series, I wouldn't be less of a man.
What do you think your worst experience on stage was?
All right. There's a lot. There's certain incidents that stand out in my head, but then there's certain. All right. So, for instance, there's been gigs like Obsessions in Randolph, playing with Rubber Johnny, and I knew nothing. I still know nothing, but I knew less than that. And I had fucking pedals on the ground intertwined with wires, and I was so raw and new that I had the fucking wire not tucked underneath the fucking guitar strap, so if it comes out it's fucking locked. Guitars know what I mean. I'm fucking playing and I'm going for it, bro. I'm talking about it like this is what I had a big chain on. I had a Hilfiger shirt on. I was wearing Tim's. I was an interesting cat, and I'm just strumming away, and all of a sudden I was like, you want to know what? For some reason, music just sounds a little lower. For a good probably 12 to 16 bars, I think I'm fucking I'm unplugged. I look down and I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I keep like a professional. I play harder. I drop to one knee and I'm fucking Waylon Jennings on it, bro. And I fucking pick up the wire real quick, all slick, and all 9 people were like, duh. I plugged back in. Remember Screwy Louie's? I jumped off the stage. The stage was about 3.5 inches high. It was actually it was like a lip.
You measured it with your dick, remember?
Yeah. See that? These are the days where no one fucking likes you. I jump off the stage, and I fucking slipped on beer, and I fell on my ass. But now fast forward to shows like.
And then you have conversely at Lemoore.
Oh man,
the stage was 7 feet tall, and you jumped off and broke your fucking ankle.
Oh, that was a bad fucking dude. That was a leap. Talk about a leap of faith.
I'm like, what?
I jumped off the stage like I was fucking playing to a packed fucking 300-person Lemoore club. There was the sound guy, Greg's bachelor party. No, I don't even think they were there yet. Remember they came? I think they showed up.
I have no recollection of that.
Greg's bachelor party came and picked him up, and they there was 9 of them, 11 of them, and they fucking came to Lemoore's and they got him. How about you?
I remember I feel like I almost had a seizure on stage.
Caesar salad?
We're at the Rec Room in Wallington.
Yeah.
Every time we play there, I feel like it was always a really good crowd.
Yes.
So I think we're opening up for Hades.
Yep, I remember that. We opened up for them a couple times, I think, right?
Yeah, and it was hot as fuck. I remember it being so hot, and I'm like, I think at the time I still like smoked, so I'm like fucking like red faced, and I'm like, I took my, it was the hottest I ever felt. Like, I took my fucking water, I pour it on my face while I'm singing, and it feels good. I go to pour it down my neck, and for some reason it went like a stream. The ice cold bottle of water went right to my fucking ass crack. Dude, I swear to God, I was like, ah! Like, you ever fucking jump into a cold shower?
Yes.
Dude, I felt like I was having a seizure, and it lasted for like a good it was only like probably like 5 to 10 seconds, but it felt like an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and nobody noticed. All right, keep going.
Those are your moves.
Right to my a-hole.
Those are your moves, bro.
There's been so many other things too. I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Do you remember one of the battle of the bands that we would play at, or it was a showcase at like Future Sounds, but it was called something. What was it called before Future Sounds? Future Stars. Was it called Future Stars? I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So, do you remember playing? Well, we played, and there was supposed to be like people watching or whatever. The first note, I broke a string.
Yes.
on the 7th string. It was like tss, 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 break. It was so fucking bad.
Or what about when you had somebody tune your fucking guitar for you?
Zeke tuned my guitar for me, and he tuned it like a half a step lower. I don't remember, but I know it was like it's not the fucking oh god. I love that kid. Do you remember playing that Garfield? That fucking.
You don't remember that for sure.
Hammered. The VFW and Garfield. Hammered.
I think halfway through the set, I had to turn you around so you you face the crowd instead of the back wall because you didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Dude.
I think that was another one where you fucking didn't know you were unplugged for a couple fucking songs.
That sucks, dude. You know what? There was a time that we played. Do you remember that bar in Clifton? Like it was by Main Street or something like that.
Loop?
No. But yes, that was a good show because we incorporated all those covers at the Loop. No, I'm talking about like I wouldn't even know that fucking name of it. Main Street Pub or.
I think I remember what you're saying, but maybe not.
I remember my wah pedal wouldn't work, and we were playing like almost like in like they moved the pool table and we played, and I just remember launching my wah pedal. Like just across the fucking club.
Is that the one when the cops came in when we were playing?
Correct. Yes.
I can't remember that fucking place.
You vaguely know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah. I was thinking about, I don't know why it's popped in my head today, the weirdest show we played in Philadelphia. First off, I thought we were getting fucon
that's right.
Robbed, stabbed, fucking killed,
see, shit like that I can't remember. Like
we were on the stage was 3 different levels, and Rich, our drummer, wasn't even in the same fucking room as us. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
How many people were there that night?
I mean, it's a small place, so there was a decent amount of people, but it was fucking.
Do you remember a decent amount of people? It wasn't like 8 people.
No, it was more than that.
Did they like us?
I don't think we liked us. Then I remember we took great pride in. Well, you did. You actually forced me a lot, but it made me a better man. That if we told them we're going to be there, we're going to be there. If we signed up for it, we showed up. That's
it.
You're always a stickler for that. And that's actually a very good thing. I don't know where the fuck this place was. It was in the city.
The fire?
We
was
pull
it
up
about
with fucking fire trucks, ambulances, and cop cars. We're like, and we will see you later.
Yeah.
That was the only show we fucking...
Yeah. We drove to the city. How much did we not want to be in that city?
Oh
Just
my
for some
God.
like...
I forget what it was, but like it was like fucking like I don't know, it was like a fucking shootout, a fucking.
Which, if you think about it, it should have been the opposite. If we wanted to do this, we should have fucking just went to the city every weekend and just played rock clubs and just fucking been part of that scene. But we didn't. But that led us to the other side of the coin, where we went to the city. We're like, get me the fuck out of Manhattan right now. I don't want to be here. We got to that club and we were like, nope, no.
We played some weird places in the city. Like, again, you mentioned in the earlier podcast, you left your guitar at fucking Siberia.
On
I wouldn't let a fucking
41st.
stray fucking wolf fucking loose in that place.
That was insane. I could still smell it.
Ugh.
The subway.
That we played this club called the Pyramid Club.
Yeah.
George.
Where?
In the city. Very weird place. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Very weird place.
I do remember that. What else? Who played bass?
I remember the stage was unreasonably high for such a small place. I don't remember.
Is that Cousin Steve?
Could be. One of the
Bacala brothers?
Isn't it crazy? Rob is the most sane bass player we've ever had.
Yeah.
I'm fucking saying something.
Pyramid Club. God damn it. I would have never remembered that in 1 million years. Remember the Emergenza festivals?
Oh my God. We actually played some cool places. We played the fucking Knitting Factory.
The Knitting Factory. And I think we killed it and we lost. Because somebody brought a bus.
And we played a really good show at the Bitter End.
Yeah.
On a Sunday night. There's a lot of people there.
There was a lot of people there.
Very good show. That got us to the
Knitting Factory.
Yeah, and you know what's actually funny? You mentioned the I don't know why certain things stick out in my head, but you mentioned the BFW show in Garfield.
Yeah.
We played that, and I want to say it was like around like Cinco de Mayo. We played that show. We were hammered. We got more fucking hammered. And the next day was a Knitting Factory show. It was probably one of the worst hangovers I've ever had. And then we were shaken. We got to the bar there, and all of a sudden, let me have one. All right, 2, 3. Back on top. What's up?
Here we go.
It's a great show.
Wet the whistle, and
The
we're
beat
on.
was wet.
We flew out to Minnesota.
Don't you know? Oh, Minnesota.
Yeah.
That was good for a fucking showcase.
That was your first time on a plane? You got wings.
I did. It was fun.
How crazy is that we fucking rented all that gear out there? Pilar got us to fucking rent all, like, they sponsored us, didn't they?
I think so, yeah.
Like, we paid for certain things, but we didn't pay for, like, that equipment, I feel like.
No, we didn't. And remember we went to that music store where we got it from?
Yeah.
And the guy let us fucking rehearse there before our set. We went in the back room and played a little bit.
Shout out to them, whatever fucking rock tech.
I'll give you $1 million. Actually, you're probably gonna know this.
What?
The name of the beer that we drank all fucking weekend. There.
Grain Belt?
Look at you. Look at you.
Let's go
We thought
get
it was
it.
the best thing ever.
I don't know why. Have you ever tried anything like this before? It's like fucking Schlitz. Yo, Rock.
What's up, bud?
When I found out we were booking this next guest, I got a warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
You did.
It's that warm, fuzzy feeling inside when I think to back in the day when New York had the best goddamn hard rock station of all time. This next guest is a TV radio personality, a podcaster. You can hear him because he's fucking back on Alt 92.3. He is the better half of the Perez Hilton Podcast, I think. Welcome to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast, Chris Booker.
I was wondering what NTTFG It's good for it, but I love it. Now it's 3 guys, so let's do it. What's going on, guys? Thank you for such a warm welcome.
Fuck yeah, dude. First off, you talk all day. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. We appreciate it.
We really appreciate that.
I can't imagine who would care, but thanks.
So, first off, how are you and the fam getting through these weird times?
It's fucking great. You kidding me?
And we'll talk about COVID later.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys that I don't like to leave the house. Growing up in my 20s in New York City and the shit we did and the things we got into, I'm tapped out, man. I've done it all. I mean, I just kind of have seen it all. And I'm to that point in my life where I like being at home. I like hanging out. I cook, I garden. I put some grass in the other day. That's my life.
Yeah, we me and Archie, we're in a band, so we obviously miss playing out live, but being able to still talk to people over Zoom and doing a podcast, it's actually not that bad. And I think that we've actually benefited from people being in their houses and wanting to talk, to be honest with you.
Right now, over the past weekend, I had a christening for my daughter and my wife's family. We haven't seen each other. Do we hug? Do you fist bump? Do we?
What do you do? It's fucking weird.
Oh my God. But yes, thank God we do have this form of a medium that we can talk to people, or else I would, these 2 guys wouldn't be talking to Booker right now, you know? So I want to take it back. There was a period in time to around 2003 that stackers, weed, and me delivering pizza, listening to 92.3 was a fucking ritual on a Friday night for me.
Yeah.
So there was a Kane and Cabby, and then there was you.
Yeah.
Those times were one of the best times. I was 24, 25,
yeah.
And those were some of the best fucking times in rock radio that I can speak for Rocky that we miss.
Yeah.
So I'm driving the other day, and I'm I know this voice. And I'm is that Kane on with some guy? Oh, okay. I'll listen.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Booker's back. I'm is this fucking 2000? This is great.
They put the band back together. We're just not playing the music that we were playing, but we're there, and music has changed a lot. And I feel you about those times the way you felt. I feel the same way. It's hard not to wax nostalgic about those New York City days, and especially those nights, man. We fucked it up. Kane and I, we did it all. I'm telling you, we did it all.
K-Rock back in the day, the vibe, the people, the heavy music. You were talking Seven Dust, Disturbed, Drowning Pool, commercial success.
Yeah.
K-Rock was in the beginning of playing those bands.
You know what's funny about that? And it's actually interesting that that's what you remember, and that's cool that you remember that we played Lejeune and Seven Dust and those guys. I mean, they were stellar dudes. And David Draymond of Disturbed, another great guy, and a lot of those guys just super awesome dudes, you know?
Yeah.
But that music, whenever we tried to play it, we would get so much shit from the listeners, because then they'd be like, you guys are fucking sellouts, and that's SOU's music and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
I'm shut the fuck up. We're playing this on the radio, on FM radio in New York. Shut the fuck up. This is awesome. And the bands loved it, but I don't know. It's cool that you gave us some credit for that, but I think a lot of the audience didn't. Alternative was so all over the map back then, and doing New York and looking at research and what people liked. For New York, it was always more rock. It was the harder rock stuff that really worked. We had a good run with just the grunge element of music, and sprinkling in, Rage Against the Machine and bands like Disturbed and Seven Dust and the fun stuff. You could goof on Limp Bizkit all you want. Nookie was fucking fun. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. Sure. It was a good time. We were just kind of dicks, and we were allowed to be dicks on the radio playing it, and everybody seemed to respond to it. And I think the other thing about that time, it's that last sliver of anonymity, and everything you did and said wasn't investigated and played back on the internet and social media. Anonymity is the word. And somehow all of this social media is supposed to make you feel closer to people. It's actually the opposite. You don't know anything about them at all. But when you go to that last breath, that last moment of the radio, when you speak about Kane and me and the crew, we felt that way about you guys, the listeners, because at some point we were going to have a beer with you eventually, because fucking we had beers with everybody, so, and that was a special time. And I think that's what made it so fucking great. That made it just a kick-ass party.
You started at K-Rock in like the late 96s, 97s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. 96, I think I started.
And at the time I was a real big Howard Stern fan. I know that he had really taken a liking to you, and you always popped on there. I mean, that had to feel surreal at the time, no?
Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. I mean, it was. My radio road, I've worked everywhere. I mean, I really have. I started in West Virginia, then South Carolina, Kansas City, Pittsburgh. I worked fucking everywhere, okay? So I knew who Howard was, but I never really heard his show. There was no internet, and you're traveling around the country. So if you got a tape of someone, and if you heard any show just once, you wouldn't go, this is fucking great. You got to kind of get into any show. So the station I worked at in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, it was a top 40, kind of like an alternative top 40 station. And we switched formats, and like one day they're like, we're going to be classic rock and we're going to put Howard Stern on in the morning. And at the time it was his smallest market. And I was like so pissed. I was like, fuck this guy and fuck this New York show, and this sucks. And my station just blew up, and I had a cool gig, and now it sucks. And I was playing pop rock alternative, and the program director's like, no, they fired everybody, but they're like, we're going to keep you on, and we're going to have you do afternoons and play Led Zeppelin and ZZ Top and all this other shit. That's funny that I love that music now.
Yeah.
But, when you're 22, I was like, this is where DJs go to die. I had so many things I wanted to do and say and have fun on the air. So as luck would have it, I got this job where I had to drive an hour and a half to my job in like Florence, South Carolina. And I had this tape recorder deal, like a boombox, and it had a tray on it. And the tray would open up and I could put 5 cassettes in it. So I would get like those 120-minute cassettes, and I would just hit record before I would go to bed. I'd wake up and go like 3 tapes in, grab the 3rd, 4th, 5th tape, pop them in my car. That was kind of my podcast, if you will.
Yeah.
So I would catch every second of that show. I knew everything about that show in the course of 2 years. So back to your point, eventually making it to New York and working for this guy who initially I fucking wanted to kill, realizing he's the greatest broadcaster that's ever talked into a microphone. So it is kind of surreal and full circle and really wild to call him a friend. But he's a sweetheart of a guy, and he has always been so. I have no idea why he's been so nice to me. He's been beyond nice to me for no reason. I have no idea why, but he's a stellar dude to me. So yeah, I'd lay down in traffic for him.
I want to jump over a little bit to TV.
Okay.
So how comfortable do you feel on TV? Because when I see you, I'm like, I look at you and I'm just like, look at this guy. He does it all. And when you're pretty much doing A-list on like the red carpet, and you're like you have a minute and they're passing by, are you getting cued with like questions, like someone's in your ear, if someone's like hey Ashanti, how you doing? So I was looking at clips on YouTube. I knew you were I was prepping for this interview here and there, and I was looking at clips, and I'm like, he looks like he just fucking came off the radio station, jumps on a red carpet. Fuck, hey, give me a tie real quick, bro. And you
Am I comfortable? Yeah, I think because look, when it's music stuff, from Van Halen to Prince, I loved it all. I love music, talking it was always easy for me, and that was that. Interviewing, simple. All you have to do is listen, and I think a lot of people don't do that. I think a lot of people, when they're interviewing, they're like, oh, fuck, what am I going to say next? Where am I going to go next? Where am I going to go next? If you're truly listening to someone, I mean, you got to have a map, of course, where you want to go in your mind before you sit down with anybody. But I think just kind of listening, and when people engage and they see your eyeballs and they see that you are really listening to them and are genuinely interested in them, they warm up to you, and then an interview becomes easy and it's a walk in the park. I grew up poor and I came from nothing, and I've seen it all the way up and all the way down, from really poor, made it today, to the richest of the rich. I'm the least comfortable with the rich, to be honest with you. They're hard for me sometimes because I don't come from that, and I don't relate to them sometimes because they're so batshit crazy. Some actors are just batshit crazy, but still, they just want to talk about themselves. So just shut up and let them talk about themselves.
When you're prepped to not ask any questions.
That's the worst.
Right? And an artist is coming on, right? And you're like, well, then why the fuck are we talking?
I feel you.
How do you handle that?
And I've had that. That's happened to me a lot of times. I could go two ways with that. So, like, I started a morning show when I was doing mornings in Philadelphia, coming off all of the New York stuff. And the producer, she was great, but she was completely blown away by how many people I would say no to. Because I knew the game coming off of TV and knowing what you're not allowed to speak with somebody. And it always irked me. Why am I going to put fucking somebody on if I can't ask the question that everybody wants the answer to? It's pointless. I think she finally got it. She's like, good point. And there's times when I worked for a entertainment show, Entertainment Tonight, the woman that ran the whole thing, she was fucking mean as nails. I loved her. But she would be on the phone. She'd go, listen, if you don't ask this person this or that, don't even fucking bother getting back on the plane. Like she would say, hang the fuck up. And I'd be like, okay. So then the publicist would be like, look, you can't ask so-and-so about this. And you're like, okay. So the interview becomes, let's say it's a 5-minute interview. It becomes 4 minutes and 32 seconds of kissing the living shit out of their ass to ramp up to that last 20 seconds where you have to ask that question before you're going to be thrown out, not even thrown out, thrown to fucking. And the thing is, the professionals, the pros, like the Tom Cruises of the world, the Sharon Stones, whomever, you can ask the pros anything and they'll never get upset. They'll just keep at the same pace, steady all the way. They have a way to say, it's cool, man. I get it. I get that it's your job and let me defer and let me do my job and dance around this. It's the small people that don't know how to do it. Hold on, honey, I'm doing an interview here. My girlfriend wants to make all the noise in the world. But then there's another story about that, which reminds me looking at her. She works with Billy Bush. Billy and I used to work on the red carpet together in New York. He was at Access and I was at Entertainment Tonight. And he had a philosophy on those questions and when they tell you not to ask. And I remember we were next to one another one night and I think we were about to interview. It was Britney Spears. That's what it was. Britney was there. And I forget what wacky thing she had done. But
Head shaved?
I can't even recall what it could possibly have been. But the publicist was very adamant. And this wasn't a sit-down interview. This was just red carpet. So, they're coming down to you and they want to say, hey, look, we'll get you Britney, but don't ask her about this. It's not cool. Do us that favor. And a lot of times they're really nice. So that's another thing. You're like, all right, fuck, I can't be a dick. And like I said, they're there to see the star. The star needs to be on TV. So, you do the interview, you tap dance, and they go to the next person. You don't ask the question. So they go to Billy, who's sitting next to me. First question out of Billy's mouth. What is it? Blah, 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 blah. The question you're not supposed to ask. And I'm just like blown away. I'm like, you shit. So after the interview, and the publicist, I was right there. She was speaking to both of us at the same time. And I said to Billy, and I said, I can't believe you opened with the fucking question that we weren't supposed to ask. And Billy, matter of fact, was like, fuck them. He goes, fuck them. He goes, I'm there to interview them. I'm there to ask the question that everybody wants the answer to. If they don't fucking like it, they can walk away. But I have to do my job and I'm going to ask them the question. And that day I was like, I'm not going to be very good at this because I'm too nice of a fucking guy.
Yeah.
I think that's how he got the grab him by the pussy line from Trump. But I kind of feel bad for him. I feel like he got like blackballed after that. And he was just kind of just doing his job.
Yeah. I had that rap and I think I tweeted that the moment of, and I got a lot of shit from a lot of people I know. And I said, look, there's a finite amount of people on this planet that's had those kind of jobs, especially before the internet and for television. And you have such a small amount of time with these people. And your job isn't to fucking educate them how to think. If someone's a clown, which Trump was always a clown, when someone's a clown, your job isn't to make them not be a clown.
Yeah.
If they want to act a fool, you're not going to say, hey, man, that's not cool. They're the star. If somebody wants to act like a fucking fool, I'm going to let them. I'm there to interview them there. I'm not there to fucking judge them or tell them how they're fucking supposed to behave. And neither was he. So, and you get someone with a personality that big, like Trump. He's as we've learned over the past few years, he's a big personality. It's hard to steer people around like that when their agenda is to be the way they want to be. What are you going to do? So, yeah, I always thought Billy kind of got a bad rap too. But, he's back working again and works with my girlfriend. So I love Billy. I've always thought he's a great guy and a very good broadcaster.
It's like you're the guy at the party. You're like, yeah, jump off the roof into the pool. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right? When they're saying something or talking or being, like you said, acting like a fool, the last thing you want to do is interrupt them. Keep on doing it.
You're trying to catch them acting like a fool on camera. You're looking for that minute, that moment. Trump was a good one. Trump was always great with the microphone in front of his face. He was always going to give you something wacky, and he was always going to make whatever show. It'll make the air, and I'll make your show better. That was his thing. He's an actor. He works at the carnival. And going back to like a Tom Cruise type, actors are wacky. Once you're around a lot of them, and it took me a while to kind of get into that vibe. Musicians are their own different kind of sauce of wacky, but actors they're a special sauce of wacky. They're different. And like when Tom Cruise was dressing down Matt Lauer or whomever on the Today Show about, medicating kids. Is that really the worst thing that fucking someone could say about over-medicating kids? Maybe Tom had a point, but maybe he's just a little wacky because he's jumping up and down on couches and shit.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He on a red carpet, he's one of my favorites because a couple of reasons. He always knew your name. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Wow.
He waited for the moment. He knew his job standing there was to get you your moment for television because he knew that's how he's getting on TV and that's how he's promoting whatever vehicle that he's a part of that ultimately is going to make him a shitload of money if it's successful. So the guy got it. And my favorite Tom story was I was doing this thing under the Chelsea Pier or something. I forget it. He was being honored maybe for some autism thing. I forget what the fuck it was for, but what's his dude from The Color of Money? Paul Newman was honoring him, which Tom didn't know. I guess it was a surprise, but no one fucking bothered to tell me it was a surprise. So I'm on the red carpet with him, like right off the bat. I'm the first person he's going to fucking interview. And we're chatting for a minute, hey, Chris, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And we get into it. I said, this is pretty wild. I go, man, you got Paul Newman here tonight and dragging him out for something like this. It must mean a lot to you. First of all, he knew right then it was the moment. And by the way, who knew? Maybe he was fucking lying. I don't think he was lying. He could have been. But he takes a pause and he looks at me and he shakes his head. He's like, you blew it. I didn't know Paul Newman's here. He just starts like giving it to me like, you're an idiot. I mean, this was supposed to be a big surprise for me. And now I know. Wow. Paul Newman's really here. That's really cool. You must feel terrible. Like he was just amazing. Yeah. Like he knew the moment and he did that every time, and that's what the pros do. The pros are just the pros.
Yeah.
Now, do you think like someone who's in the public eye, actor, athlete, musician, whatever it is, we've seen like overzealous fans and like when it comes to the media and they're promoting something, like it's almost like I feel like they have the obligation, like if you're out to promote something, you should talk. Like, I mean, have you had guests where it's like pulling teeth where you're like, okay, well, I'm trying to promote something for you and you're not really cooperating.
If you're coming on my show, if I'm going to ask you something, you've agreed to talk with me. So let's talk. It's kind of silly not to just let someone answer how they want to answer.
It's like, I can see if like a reporter or like a personality is intentionally just trying to be a dick to get a reaction out of somebody. Like I get them being upset, but I feel like, why would you agree to an interview? Why would you agree to go on someone's show? Why would you agree to do whatever kind of press? It kind of like bums you out when you see people that are just really not engaged with it.
There's a bunch of shitty interviewers too. Let's just not forget that. I've interviewed some pop stars. There are some really good musicians, like this Niall Horan kid that was in One Direction. I fucking hate One Direction. I thought their music was shitty. They had one song that was like okay for a pop song, but I thought that they were just kind of an overrated boy band. And then they're going to go solo. And I'm like, I've seen this fucking movie before. It's just going to be shitty manufactured music, blah, 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 blah. So I get this kid Niall Horan's album and I start listening to it. And it's phenomenal. This kid knows how to put together music. And it turns out he's a huge, like Stevie Nicks, and he's a huge fan of the 70s. And he understands music. He knows music. And his interviews, I tried to watch a couple of them online. And you see these top 40 DJs. They don't have chops yet. And they sit down and they just start like, hey, let's start playing a game of boxers or briefs or stupid shit like that. By the way, and I get it too, asking someone about their music could make you nauseous at times. Them just talking how technical it could be and blah, blah, blah. There's a happy medium. When you get someone like that actually knows what they're doing and you know how to ask them questions, they light up. At the end of the day, all of their fans are like, holy shit, that's like the best interview we've ever seen Niall give. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I just fucking listened to his music, realized it was good, and asked him the questions I wanted to know.
Got it.
I don't know if it takes years to figure that the fuck out. That seems like I learned that on day 2.
Yeah. Your resume, I mean, if anybody has a fucking idea, from what we talked about in the beginning, from like, heavy music like, Seven Dust and even just alternative in general, to seeing pictures of you with Ed Sheeran, like you fucking, dude, in music, you have interviewed a lot of people. You've talked to a lot of people, and you've seen a lot of people come up. And it's funny because like they could pass you by after the interview. You're like, he's got about 2-3 years.
I know which ones are going to stay and which ones aren't.
I have to ask this. I knew you were on. I knew because I saw I forget where I saw the ad, but it was the Perez Hilton podcast with Chris Booker. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Never really listened to the podcast, but now, last 3 weeks, I have. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right. What the hell could Chris Booker? Can he keep a fucking straight face for everything that comes out of this guy's mouth? First of all, I was at the gym. I'm listening. I listened to about I think it was like the last 3 weeks. I'm going to my wife at the table. I'm like, did you hear what happened with Kim and Kanye? she's like, what the fuck are you saying right now? You guys have a very good relationship, like a yin to a yang. Yeah. I'm sure you've been told this before, but I'm sure like you guys have. It's a good dynamic because he's up here, you're down here, but there's knowledge with you and there's flamboyant knowledge with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But how did that come about? Like, where did that come from?
It's funny. Like, it's one of those things where it was just dumb luck. Carson Daly was our morning person, and Perez did a segment on Carson's show every morning. And Carson and Perez just didn't really kind of click. They didn't really, and I kind of more would blame Carson than anything because he would just act disinterested, like in the Kardashians. Look, I couldn't care less about the Kardashians. I'm more fascinated by the person that is fascinated by the Kardashians. Like, I don't really understand why they have so many minions and so many people. But over the years, I do understand it more because the show, or what the Kardashians are, it's like Father Knows Best. That show was built on a family. It's like the reality show First Family is what it was. It's why Perez Hilton couldn't make it on TV and Kim did, because they understood that it's all about family, and that's a really large cast of people that can really shit on each other, or, a lot of it's fake. Who cares is the point, but everything's arbitrary. I will watch 9 people chase a little white ball around a fucking baseball field all day long. I will. You can't tell me that's not arbitrary. And somebody watching 4 girls that talk like them and live this life that they possibly couldn't, I understand it. I get it. So I just find everything kind of fascinating. Like, why do people find this fascinating or that?
Yeah.
Politics is the same. I grew up in West Virginia. So, I mean, those Trump people, those red state people, I am those people. Living in a trailer park and having nothing, you kind of get programmed to be exactly like the person that lives next door to you. And then that just catches on like wildfire. That's all that is. And when you get out and you get a little bit of perspective on the world, and you move around a little bit, you start to embrace different kinds of people and seeing different cultures and understand other people's upbringing compared to yours. And like New York, I dated a Puerto Rican forever. And then to move to Los Angeles, like New Yorkers, we know Dominicans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, where in Los Angeles, it's mostly Mexicans. So living out here for 10 years, of course, half of my friends are Mexican. And then understanding their culture and just being so blessed to kind of really understand what's different about so many different people. That's what's so fucked up about what's going on right now. It's just, I just really wish that people could see what this country is really about, what people are really about, and what different cultures are really about. And we're all the fucking same. We all put our pants on the same fucking way. And
let's be honest, podcasting has only been popular, probably the last 8 years, 10 years, probably with Rogan. You saw this come up as another form of a meme as far as I'm on the radio. There's certain things I could say and cannot, like, obviously I want my job tomorrow, so I can't say. But now you're at your home. You could tell him to go fuck himself for 30 minutes. And no.
I realized I didn't answer your question because I was rambling poetic about the fucking country because I'm just so.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm so in that hole right now. First question I'll ask. So Carson and him did a bit together. And when I would fill in for Carson, Perez and I got along great. And at that point, he was like, oh my God, I like this guy. So he had a deal with the company and they were like, we want to put a podcast together. Back to your point about podcasting. Yes. And they initially, of course, said, let's put him with a girl and they'll talk pop culture. And they had like 4 or 5 ideas that they tried out a few people. And then Perez kind of raised his hand at the end and said, well, what about Booker? And they were all kind of like, the guy that likes the Mets and talks football and Steelers and Booker. And he's like, yeah, like I get along with him great on the radio. He's a lot different than I am, but we have a good time. So they were like, fuck it, let's try it. So we did a show. That was 5.5 years ago. And we do 1 or 2 every week, depending on what's happening in the world. And that's how I got put together. But it's not, I shouldn't say everything's about the fucking money, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, I think we both genuinely love doing the show. I cherish his whack the fuck out perspective on things because he is a gay dude from Miami. I don't know much about that culture. I know everything about it now. I can tell you anything you want to and especially with the Kardashians and stuff. Like I worked on pop radio for 10 years. He's kind of doing me a favor by doing my homework for me. What I've learned with like pop culture, everybody has one opinion, and the one opinion is like the one that goes out online. And why our show works is I never have that fucking opinion. I'm always like, no, that's bullshit. Why would that be that way or blah, blah, blah. And that's why the show works. Because he kind of gets trapped into, well, this is what the dummies are saying online. I'm like, well, this just in, everybody online is fucking stupid. It's fun. It's just a fun fucking time.
I'm cracking up right now because I'm just thinking in my head, right? It's like, Chris, did you see that episode with and you're like, no.
He will ask me things like that. He goes, did you see it? I'll be like, fuck no. Why would I watch that? But however, I do like The Bachelor. Let me take a minute to sell The Bachelor. It's 25 batshit crazy girls, okay? One's hotter than the next. It's like a fucking bikini contest every week. It's amazing. Get that in your rotation.
Real quick, we just brush upon just the second part of my question. Podcasting, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Now, you see this that came up, right? It had to have not blown your mind, but like, what the fuck is this now? Wait a minute. I'm on, radio. In LA, I'm on fucking these prestigious radio stations. This is fucking Jimmy Ungatz in his basement. You've joined the team.
I've always just enjoyed the freedom of it, being able to say what I want to say. And I was talking with a comedian on his podcast. He was saying that podcasting was, and I think it's was now, past tense, it was the last forum or platform where you couldn't get tossed off of a medium for saying something crazy or out there or deemed to be insensitive for this really overly sensitive fucking millennial world. But that's kind of ending too, because you're seeing people like Nick Cannon loses a job or whatever because he says some shit. My response to that is, who gives a fuck what Nick Cannon says on his fucking podcast? Those are his listeners. They fucking downloaded it. They came for the crazy shit. You're another platform hungry for shit to fucking talk about. So you got to go to this platform and start cherry picking some crazy shit and putting it on your platform and getting this dude fired. I don't agree with anything he's ever said, but I don't go to his show. You know what I mean? So fuck him. If he wants to have that opinion, cool. But I definitely don't want the dude to lose a fucking job over it. That's horse shit. So that's changing, man. I'm not these two fucking guys could get me in trouble.
I think that is a fear of, this cancel culture that we're in, that people will dig in your past. If they can't find it in the past, they're going to wait till you fuck up on a podcast or on, something shows up on TMZ or you're being taped at a play. People are afraid to do anything. And it's kind of sad.
It's funny because the internet was supposed to sort of set us free, and it's actually done the opposite. It's kind of stifled people's speech. And now they have to be so careful of everything because everybody's watching and everybody's judging. And we used to just not pay attention to people. I miss the fucking days when someone would complain and you would go, fuck you, don't listen. And that would be the literal end of it. That would be it. But then now there's a recording of fuck you, don't listen. And then another platform fucking plays it a million times. Then you're a dick and then you're fired and unemployed. It's just stupid. Yeah. At least this platform, I think, lets people be a little bit more real. If you listened to me when I was doing talk in New York, you would kind of get that this would be my vibe, but it's still a watered down version of what I really want to say.
I can hear the tone in your voice that, like, if we were at a bar having a drink, you'd be like, fuck them.
Fuck that guy. Fuck everyone. I mean, but that's the beauty of a podcast. You know, it's, and think about it. We're like talking about pop culture shit. And him and I are like, yeah, fuck that person and fuck this person. I always said, I wish I was gay just so we could call the show Two Bitchy Gays.
I like the podcast because it's like, honestly, it's edited well because it's like 40 minutes, 50 minutes. It's cut. It's like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. All right, and we're out. Thank you very much. Have a good night. It'll give you the brush of the pop culture and we'll take care.
Yeah.
Yo, seriously, dude, to be honest with you, we could sit here and ask you a fucking 1,000 music questions. We would like to know all this shit, but we just want to say thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with us. And you were a fucking huge part of, I listen to you now, but growing up, in the in like those 7 Dust days and those in the 90s, I'm so happy you're back on all 92.3. And even though it's a little bit of a pussier music, but we still like it.
I think I said that on the air yesterday. I go, playing the pussiest music I could find. It's Booker. It's 92.3. No, thank you. I mean, it means a lot. And when you're in a box by yourself, I had shows where I had people, obviously, but when you're in a box by yourself saying dumb shit, you don't know who's fucking listening. And for two dudes to go, hey, man, I remember you back then, and it meant something to me that you kept me company. That's literally the absolute best compliment anyone could ever give me. So thank you. That's really nice and generous of you to say. And thanks for having me on your show. Like, if you want me on any time, I'll be late, but I would love to fucking be on. I'll tell you all the stories. I got them all.
That's awesome, brother. We appreciate it. Just tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
I'm at Chris Booker everywhere. Radio is, of course, Alt 92.3 New York. That's on the radio.com app. And please subscribe to the podcast. It's the Perez Hilton Podcast with Chris Booker. It's a fun fucking show. And I know a lot of people go, ugh, Perez Hilton. We get it. I do that every fucking week. But I swear to God, I wouldn't do something for 5 years if I didn't think it was fucking great. And I think it's a great show because exactly what you said. There are two fucking humans that have a completely different point of view about things. And it's not all just, hey, Kim Kardashian did this, it's that. It's a lot of life stuff. It's a lot of different perspectives. And I think it's a great fucking show. I love doing it. And thanks for letting me promote it. I appreciate it.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Well, the great Chris Booker, thank you very much. And stay safe, dude.
Hey, thank you guys. Take care.
Talk soon. Thank you.
Yo, I am going to try my damnedest to get this guy back on the podcast because there's like a fucking 100 questions that I wanted to ask him about rock music back in the day, about being on the radio, more on TV. He was so fucking cool. He's interesting. He's funny, personality, and I'm sure he's got a ton of other great stories. Please follow him at Chris Booker, and also please subscribe to his podcast, the Perez Hilton Podcast with Chris Booker. With that being said, my boy Rocco, what do you got to say to the people? Huh?
If you just heard our chat with Booker and you're going out to get yourself a hooker because your girl ain't no motherfucking looker, then you just listening to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
Yeah.